Good now, everybody, and welcome back to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Monday, July 1st, almost Independence Day for people celebrating in the United States. We had fireworks going off here in Memphis last night. I hope that wherever you are, you're happy, you're healthy, and that you're ready to get into it this week. It's your helpful news, commentary, and answers to, of course, all the crypto questions you have. I am Evan. I'll be joined shortly by my colleague and co-host, Mr. Alex Popovich. And, of course, the Faceless Many, all the everyday people who make up our community, learners at all levels of experience, ready to rise up and write a better future with the technology we love to learn about here. Thank you for joining me today. Lady Money in the comments, I see ya. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. If you've got your thumbs at the ready and you're stopping in, give this screen a little tap, share this with one of your friends so the algorithm knows that what we're doing here is helpful. Then please let me know how you're doing. Leave me a comment. Say hey, tell me how you're feeling today. I know, Doom, the image quality is... I don't even need as much light from the ring light. Honestly, it's too much. It's too much. You know what I'm saying, man? I can't go on. Whew. I didn't even know how to feel about it at first. And I think that there's some TikTok interface bewitchery, because I'm pretty sure, like, I don't have any kind of filter on, the enhance button is not on, but I'm pretty sure that it is doing something to my face. I think with image quality this high, my pores should not look that small. I don't think I look this glamorous. That guy looks good. Even with like my morning eyes and my puffy face, you know what I mean? Whew. So I hope that you feel as good about yourself as this iPhone makes me feel. Let me tell you what. Oh, let me know what's going on, folks. Mark says, we need crypto to be in the green all week. Will, that looks smaller with Paula's Choice. Listen, man, I'm doing my piece to try and get us a Paula's Choice sponsorship. It might be in the cards, maybe not, I don't know. Here comes Will.
Ah, shit. Camera.
Hello, young William, and welcome to the show.
Oh, there we go. Hey, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How's your morning been?
Oh, good. Good. Had a nice little lazy morning because I'm no longer in my Q4. It's Q1, and like my entire company took this entire week off because, 4th of July is on Thursday. My boss actually called me on Friday and he's like, hey, Will, like, how many days you taking off next week? And I was like, I'm not taking any days off next week, Kevin. Like, I'm going to be working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And like, I'll check my emails on Friday. And he was like, really? He was like, oh, I'm going to be in Maine. Don't call me. I was like, all right, yeah, cool, man. That's fine by me. I'm just kind of chilling this week.
Awesome, man.
I'm great. I slept in a little bit, by sleeping in. I mean, I got out of bed at 6:55 and then a little coffee, a little shower.
Literally a little coffee, right?
Actually, my favorite comment I've ever had on a TikTok video was Alex's. And it was when W-E-N smaller cup. When smaller cup. And I lost it. I was dying. I was like, this is the greatest TikTok comment I've ever had in my life.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Alex, here he comes. You didn't miss anything. We just kind of we got a bit of a late start here. Him and I both. We were getting our coffee together, wrangling stuff, and so welcome, Alex. Welcome, Will.
Morning.
How you doing, Alex?
Tired.
Did you hear me tell the world that your comment is my favorite TikTok comment I've ever had in my life?
Yes, I'm very honored.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's huge. I don't even know what my favorite TikTok comment is.
I mean, I know now. That was amazing. I feel like I should take a screenshot and turn it into an NFT.
I don't know if this is all time because it's super recent and there's been a lot of comments, but I got one yesterday. So the hook to the video was, if this is your first time in crypto and you're feeling overwhelmed, here's some advice. And this this person was just like, I'm actually quite underwhelmed. And
I am.
And I was like, well, this you probably don't need this advice then. My guy, you sound like you got a good handle on it.
Right. You know, that makes me think, Willie, I saw your video about is this the end of the bull run? You were having kind of a conversation with Cosmic, who's in the comments and hangs out at the show. And I'm seeing that a lot right now. I think a lot of people are underwhelmed or they're overwhelmed because they're like, they're having two reactions to the same kind of thing. For people who didn't see it, do you want to tell them what you were thinking?
Yeah, sure. But also, I think it's just depression. I think, like a lot of people are just like sad right now.
Yeah, and
And
I don't think it's all crypto. I think
yeah,
life is tough for a lot of
life is tough.
people.
But like also in crypto, it's like you see like Bitcoin's gone down like 10%, but my altcoin is down 70%. And I'm like, no, I've also seen a lot of people are like, this bull run's totally different from the last one. And I'm like, nope, same, guys. But no, just like where my thoughts are is like, I don't think this is the end of the bull run. I don't think we're close to it, but there's definitely a possibility for sure that, our bull run could end sooner than expected. Or bull market, I should say, not bull run, bull market could end sooner than expected because of economic turmoil caused in the US banking sector. But, like I personally still think that it is more likely that this cycle it ends, air quotes, normally, somewhere between June to December of 2025. But I wouldn't be shocked to see us end in the spring of 2025 in a short term and maybe get something like we did last cycle where there was like 2 pumps, right? And that was caused by manipulation by FTX. And this could potentially be caused, if this were to happen, by there being a short to mid-term economic collapse globally, caused by, well, like I said, the unrealized losses that are currently within the mid-market banking sector of the US. But then what would happen is governments across the world would have to pump a shit ton of money and you'd have like an amazing buying opportunity. And if that were to happen in the spring of 2025, you then have like, oh, there's still some time left in the normal cycle. Maybe we get one more pump up because, and I feel like that could very easily happen. However, the argument for it still being a normal cycle, I feel like is still totally valid because
And when you say normal, you mean going on a little past that?
Yeah, June to December of 2025, normal, is still totally valid because these unrealized banking losses, and if any of you don't know what that means, these like banks don't actually hold your money. I'm sure most people are aware of that. They take your money and they go and they invest it in things and they make money off of that, right? So they don't actually store your money. And what they have largely invested in are mortgage-backed securities. And these mortgage-backed securities, their value has fallen because they have an inverse relationship with mortgage rates. As mortgage rates go up, mortgage-backed securities values go down, and vice versa. So these banks have major unrealized losses, meaning they have these assets that are underwater, but they haven't sold them yet, right? So that's the issue. The issue is that they are down on their money at the moment. And if people become really worried that their banks don't have their money, then they rush to the bank, try to withdraw their money. You have a bank run. The bank doesn't have everybody's money because they're operating at a loss right now, right? So that's the potential economic doomsday scenario, right? Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, it was concise and helpful.
Now, that might not really be an issue though, because the Fed, the US federal government, has a loan program that they created last year. You may remember the failure of Silicon Valley Bank because it was a crypto bank. There was a run on the bank because they had a shit ton of unrealized losses. People got worried. It was the exact scenario I painted for you. And since then, the Fed now has a loan program for banks just like that to be able to take a loan from the Fed and provide money to people so that those banks don't have to go sell those mortgage-backed securities at a loss, eventually run out of money and go bankrupt. So like there is a bulwark against there being a run on the bank causing those mid-sized banks to close, but there is a cap to that, right? So this unrealized losses may not actually be that big of a problem because of this safety switch, if you will, by the Fed. However, that safety switch is capped, so it could be overwhelmed and we could still totally have the problem. I think about it like having levees for like a hurricane to protect a city, but if the swell's too big, it'll go over the levees, like Katrina in New Orleans. So this is a problem. There is a system in place to stop it, so it might not actually impact the global economic system in a way that causes a short-term, very sad time. Short-term, very sad time.
Short-term, very sad time sounds like a K-pop band.
Yeah, short-term, very sad time. So it might not happen, but it's something to definitely be aware of for sure. And the other thing that's boosting the U.S. economy right now are the wars. Is us supplying ammunition and supplies to Israel as well as Ukraine. And that's probably only going to potentially escalate, which is an economic boon for the U.S., which flushes the military-industrial complex with a bunch of money, as well as BlackRock with a bunch of money. And it's a different way of artificially inflating the economy and indirectly doing money printing. So we do have that going on, which is injecting the system with cash to bolster economic strength to be able to handle a potential issue in the banking sector. So that's going on too. So there are some things going on that could prevent this problem from happening. But what I'm doing, and I know I've been talking a long time, guys, I apologize.
No, you're fine.
But what I'm doing is I'm just going, okay, cool. I'm still leaning towards us having a normal bull cycle, so June to December 2025. But I'm going to start selling earlier, as I've told you guys. Like once January hits, I'm just going to start dollar cost averaging my way out slowly. Keep my eye on the relative strength index. Keep my eye on the Bitcoin Pi cycle indicator. Keep my eye on all these like major indicators and see like how overbought we're getting. And I'm also going to be keeping my eye on stocks like Nvidia. I'm going to be keeping my eye on I'm not the S&P 500. The stock index that covers tech.
What are you talking about? What is that? Is that ARK's fund?
No.
It's
Oh, I'm having a total brain fart. Anyway, that.
The NASDAQ has one, but I know that's not what you're talking about. The U.S. Tech Index, NDXT.
No, I think I am just thinking of the NASDAQ. I think
the
you're right.
NASDAQ's 100 tech sector is called the NDXT.
Yeah. And I want to see how those guys do, because if we start getting like what seems to be a totally irrational bull market, I'm going to be like, melt up. Yeah. This seems like a melt up.
For context, for audience members too, why Will might be looking at that, the tech companies used to comprise like a quarter of the top 100 on the NASDAQ or the S&P like market cap. Now they're closer to 50. And really that's mostly 5 companies. Alphabet, Meta, and the other 3 are escaping me, but it's amazing how much of an influence these companies have.
Yeah, and one thing that makes me think that we like an economic downturn is potentially likely also, and it's for a different reason. It's because of the language we're getting from Larry Fink. It's because of the language we're getting from Michael Dell, and like these other big billionaires. And what that language is you have Larry Fink came out yesterday, or maybe it wasn't Larry Fink exactly, but indirectly it was like one of his top guys talking about how, again, stressing how Bitcoin is a safe haven asset to protect people from the volatility of market collapse. And they've been talking about this for a long time. And they're positioning themselves to be like, hey, Bitcoin's what you want to buy when there's a market collapse. When there's a market collapse. When there's a market collapse. And I'm just like, they know. I'm like, they know. They're reading some tea leaves. They're going to see like, hey, what if there's ever a market collapse? Buy our ETF, when like they're just kind of like seeding that mind, that thought into investors' minds, and have been for the past like 6 months. And then the other thing too is you have Michael Dell, who It's funny. I was thinking this before, but I got to give credit to Invest Answers over on YouTube because I was looking at Michael Dell's tweets on Twitter, and they're super Bitcoiny, and then Invest Answers was like, "I think he's Mr. 100," and I was like, "Holy shit, yeah, I think he's Mr. 100 too." If you guys, so Mr. 100 is a guy who, for the past like 4 months, pretty much since the ETFs came out, has been buying 100 Bitcoin. About like for a while it was every single day bought 100 Bitcoin and did it for months, and everyone's like, oh hey, look, there's this Mr. 100 dude, and then there's some days where he buys 300 Bitcoin when it
Just to flex.
just to flex, and it's all going to the same address. He currently has half the amount of Bitcoin as MicroStrategy right now, and what he did sell some, he sold something like 600 or 800 Bitcoin when we hit our top. So this is a very good trader. And he hit the top almost perfectly at like 71,000. And then since then he's bought again a lot of Bitcoin.
Wow.
But yeah, you can go and like Google Mr. 100 Bitcoin buys, and people are there's a ton of speculation, like, is it a Saudi prince? Is it like a Dubai prince? Is it an exchange? Doesn't seem to be an exchange. And Invest Answers is the best guy to go to on YouTube to talk about this because he breaks down all the data. But the buying behavior of Mr. 100 is not the same as Binance or Coinbase or any of the exchanges. Definitely seems like it could have been like some oil-rich person in the Middle East. But because of the super bullish tweets by Bill Gates, I think it's Bill Gates because he has a net worth of something like $107 billion. And currently, the amount of money that Mr. 100 has bought Bitcoin with is equivalent to about 2 or 4% of his net worth. So like he very easily could do that. And also Michael Dell announced like a month ago that he was selling like $1.7 billion worth of Dell stock. To do what with? And also Michael Dell has been to Michael Saylor's Bitcoin conferences and conversations and stuff. And he's retweeted Michael Saylor also. So yeah. It's just like, okay, if Mr. 100 is Michael Dell, and this guy is scooping up 100 Bitcoin or 300 Bitcoin at a time and has half of the amount of Bitcoin that MicroStrategy has, who's been buying Bitcoin for years now, and he's been doing it for 4 months, all we need is like 3 more billionaires to be like, oh, hey, I should probably do that too. And all of a sudden, with 5 of them around, you have included 2.5 additional MicroStrategies to the mix in terms of how they're buying, except rapidly accelerated. Yeah. Because MicroStrategy's done what they've done in 3 or 4 years.
Oh, years.
Dell's done that. If this is him, Mr. 100, I should say, has done that in 4 months, 3 months. So like, that's the crazy thing when you think about it. We just need like a few billionaires to like just copy that, and then shit's gangbusters.
For our audience, quickly, some more context on Michael Dell's enthusiasm for Bitcoin. This poll occurred a day ago on his Twitter account when he asked his followers to rank the most important thing. Their options were AI, Bitcoin, love, and relationships, or none of the above. 43% of them chose Bitcoin. Sorry, love and relationships, you get a consolation prize on your way out. So, so could be Mr. 100.
And I saw, like centralization, like fears of like centralization of supply and stuff like that. I mean, like, something to be worried about. You know, if one of those accounts gets a cold and decides to sell, that's a big market collapse. But like, that's no different from any other market. That's no different from a whale. These markets are going to get bigger and bigger. We're going to get to $6 to $10 trillion market cap eventually. And we're going to have bigger and bigger whales because more and more money is coming in. But proportionately, you have a $6 to $10 trillion market cap. And if you have someone who has half of the supply of what MicroStrategy has, proportionately speaking, if they went to go and sell everything, that would have been the same as last cycle, just like one of the regular Bitcoin whales going and deciding to sell like, a big portion of their stack, right? Proportionately, the amount that traditional Bitcoin whales have had in comparison to the size of the market of Bitcoin, will be pretty similar, right? So the impact of, let's say, Mr. 100 deciding to sell a big fat stack would be the same impact percentage-wise as we've seen in the past. So Yeah, it's something to be like, worried about. But that's the same for every single crypto. That's the same for every single cycle. I don't really see it as something to be like extra concerned about as compared to last cycles, right? Because proportionally, our market's just getting bigger, so we're going to have bigger whales, right? That's just what's going to happen.
Sure. And that's interesting because a lot of people are talking right now about Mt. Gox releasing about $9 billion of Bitcoin onto the market, which is causing a lot of speculation about how much impact it'll actually have. I don't know if you heard, you probably didn't because I'm a maxi, and I think everybody ought to listen to it. If you haven't, check out Laura Shin's podcast, Unchained. I friggin' love it. They had a great episode about the release of the Mt. Gox Bitcoin. And I'm trying to go to the URL so I can put it in the chat. But she had a really fantastic, Alex Stern from Galaxy came on and talked about why the repayments will have a smaller impact, why he's betting they're going to have a smaller impact than most people seem to think. Just a really great analysis of of this 140,000 Bitcoin tokens, who is most likely to receive them? And how do they feel about Bitcoin, or what is their thesis? A lot of them are exchange wallets. A lot of them are Bitcoin maxis, people who've had Bitcoin for a long time. He said, even if people are likely to dump because it'll be liquid, it's probably not going to have as big an impact as people think. All to underscore what you said,
Yep.
Will, that there's always something going on to impact the price. There's always something going on to cause FUD or whatever. And some of it is very, potentially concerning. But I'm with you. I just don't think it's as different as people think it is. Sure, the horse looks different that we're riding in on, but I don't know. I haven't seen an event that's making me think, wow, let's pack it up and go home.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single event that I think derails the bull market. The only thing that could derail it is, a miniature economic collapse, right? That's the only thing that really could.
Which is possible.
Which is possible. But I haven't seen any news that carries more weight than the impact of having a spot Bitcoin ETF. And then I don't know if you guys saw it or anybody in chat saw it, but I put out a video where I was playing with the math of the Mt. Gox selling. And the math that I broke down was, let's assume 3 scenarios that of all the Bitcoin that gets paid back to people, 20%, 33%, and 50% of all of it gets sold by people who get it. And then I also took into calculation, let's say 15% of the people who get it go to OTC markets, meaning that when they sell, it doesn't affect pricing. So of the 20, the 33, so the 1/5, the 1/3, and the 1/2 scenario of all those Bitcoin being sold, only about 75 to 85% of it will affect the market in a serious way. And I broke down the math, and it ends up being somewhere between 4 billion to 1.7 billion is the range of what actual sell side pressure could potentially be. And we don't know if all of this Bitcoin is going to be given out at once, if it's going to be dripped out to people over a month or 2 months up until October. But let's just say it's a month. So we have 1.4 billion to, let's say, $4.5 billion potential sell side pressure being added to the market over 4 weeks that could affect price. The spot Bitcoin ETFs bought $1.1 billion in a single day. Over the course of 3 days, very recently, they bought $1.6 billion over the course of 3 trading days. The amount of sell side pressure that could affect pricing from Mt. Gox over the course of a month could be entirely eaten up by the spot Bitcoin ETFs if they decide to buy in the way we know how they like to buy in about 7 trading days. And so that's why I look at Mt. Gox selling and I go, I'm not worried about this impacting price for the next between now and October in a really meaningful way. Of course, there'll be an additional sell side pressure, but because if the ETFs decide to turn on, it just eats it up so easily. Our market is so much bigger now to be able to handle this kind of sell side pressure without having a major collapse.
I mean, I maintain that it's a good thing anyway. Anytime you have something like giant, very wealthy, independent or, company buyers of an asset like Bitcoin, you should be encouraged by the fact that more of it is coming onto the market to be purchased by other people. And I feel like, as always, it's an appropriate time for the PSA that you don't have to sell your Bitcoin to anybody. You can keep it. And I mean, that's like the one thing that I know I do. It's a personal pet peeve when someone says Satoshi would be upset to see. I don't think so. Just because the whole point was freedom. So, when people choose to do things with it that you don't agree with, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing it wrong. But the one thing that was probably not intended, was like to keep having all of the small things try to like swing trade their way to wealth, while the gajillionaires just keep buying because they don't need to sell any. And then all of a sudden, 12 billionaires are going to own half the Bitcoin. And then the whole thing would be kind of pointless if the billionaires have the 51%. So in an effort to keep, not that we're like even remotely close, because MicroStrategy is the biggest by far, and they just cracked one, which is considerable. But
the 51% of the supply doesn't matter. It's just the mining power.
Yeah, but if someone controlled, in this case, however many hundreds of billions of dollars, then controlled selling or buying of whatever would just be enough to, I think, scare a lot of people out.
Yeah, it could.
It
would scare the smart people out.
I just wonder. I wonder if that's going to be, if that would be next. I wonder if that would be next. If you bought, a gigantic, massive amount of the supply, you have to hope that at least at some point, it would become not. It's an interesting theoretical discussion. Do you think you would ever get to a point where there's just simply not enough Bitcoin on the market to support just like open buying of whatever you want, that like legitimately you run into scarcity being a thing? Not like in the next week or so. I mean, like 50 years from now, 60 years from now. That would be very interesting.
No.
I would say I'm not concerned at all by that. It's because Bitcoin can be fractionalized, right?
Of course. I would immediately counter that neither one of you can even remotely fathom where we're going to be in 60 years. And
but I would say, this is what I would say. I wouldn't say yes or no. I would say as long as we live in a system where the primary incentive is capital, by which I mean the means to accumulate food, water, and shelter are dollars and cents. And as long as the value of Bitcoin is measured in dollars and cents, there will always be somebody willing to sell it and always be somebody willing to buy it, because the goal is make more money in order to feel secure that I can get those other things. If in 50 to 60 years we have moved from that proxy to a different system, then I would say possibly no. But as long as that system is in place and as long as Bitcoin exists, people who want to sell it will find buyers for it.
Yep. Human nature would have to change.
I don't think it's human nature. I think it's the system and structures we have in place that prompt us to act in that way. Because for millions and millions of years before markets existed, people behaved differently. And so I think our nature is mutable.
I say society is a creation of our nature. So our society is a representation of the nature of humanity, and only morphs into something that doesn't fit humanity, typically in dictatorships or when you have bad kings.
Yes. But what I would say to that is what Hamlet said to Horatio, that there are more things on heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. To say it is only one way is only looking at a small piece of the pie. It has been both, that people have shot each other and that they have loved each other, that people have created this monster and that people have created hospitals. Like they have done both. We contain multitudes, to quote another great poet, I don't know about you guys, but this is a Monday morning for me, and I got to tell you, Will's over here dropping his detective knowledge, and you got some big stats and beefy numbers, and Alex is coming in hot with philosophical questions, and someone in the chat wants to know about tokenization of real-world assets, and I am not struggling to keep up, but I'm only one cup of coffee deep, okay? So bear with me.
To get us slightly less philosophical, although slightly. Will, I just saw your chain swap video, the integration.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about it a little bit, and I also wanted to be slightly pithy. and just say that I am bearish on crypto related projects achieving all of their goals. And
Oh, I think we all are.
complete.
Everyone should be.
Okay, just to make sure, it's like it's such a funny thing to exist in this market and to hear something like a cool project, doing an important thing to accomplish their goals and roadmap, and then knowing that if anything is going to kill the project, it's probably that, which just sucks.
Why? Just like it's too much of a workload to actually have them enabled to actually execute, even though the technology has been integrated.
No, just that. Well, now what do we look forward to? They're done.
Yeah, well, then what you have to look forward to is adoption, which might never.
Adoption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, adoption with DeFi
Specifically, are you talking about?
can get adopted. What?
You're talking about
Chain swap.
Chain
specifically?
swap.
Yeah.
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 Excuse me.
I mean, Mishiste's got a point below. He said, "What's the Doge roadmap?" And to be fair, Doge actually does have kind of a stellar roadmap, but the bigger roadmap is, the roadmap is a meme.
Alex is a buzzkill.
I could get worse. Do you want me to kill the buzz?
I don't know specifically about ChainSwap, but I feel like for many products, whatever. I saw a tweet that was like, 2014. They said, "Don't worry, there's utility," and in 2024, it's like, "Don't worry, there's no utility." Like in terms of what are people saying when the cops call them. And also just generally speaking, what am I bullish on or bearish on? I have kind of had that flip flop too. I feel like ChainSwap, which maybe I misunderstand, but seems a little fugazi to me. I don't know. Someone was talking about BlockDAG the other day. Someone in the comments was asking about Libertum or ObiCoin. And I'm not hip to every one of those projects that has a roadmap, what their roadmap is specifically, but generally speaking, somebody who comes out and says, "I want to solve a real world problem. Hang on, let me get a crypto. Also, here's my white paper." I would say, not 100%, but pretty close. Of the time, somebody who's like leading with that and has a product to sell you or a token to sell you, and then they're going to do something about it later. I am way more bearish on those people than I am folks like Mishiste, who are like, it'd be really cool is if you could buy tokens the way you buy stuff on Amazon. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm going to build it. There's no token. But if you go to this website, you can buy other tokens and have an easier time doing it the same way, and like stuff like that. That's what I'm really bullish on, because that's the kind of stuff, or crypto the game. There's no token, but if you want to use a token, you can buy our NFT in order to become a contestant in this game. And then other people will launch tokens around it, like POAPs or fungible tokens representing your membership on a tribe. And a bunch of people will write about it, play about it, talk about it. And oh, by the way, Uniswap's going to acquire us for a couple $1 million. Like that's the stuff I'm excited about. Almost everybody with roadmap these days, it seems like, is trying to sell you something.
Here's a little nugget of wisdom that all of you can take if you're considering a token, or whether you're considering making one, whether you're just considering buying anything. Almost no one that I have ever spoken to in crypto. It's a tall claim, but I'm gonna stand by it. Almost no one, I feel like, truly understands the ramifications of launching a token. And I think that it's truly only a thing that you can understand if one of two things is true. One, you either do it and firsthand, or two, you're willing to pull your head out of your ass and trust an expert. And that was like the impetus for my whole video yesterday, that it sounds silly, but like if your mind is open, you're way more likely to win. And that's harder to do than it sounds. But like, seriously, when you launch a token, that becomes the whole business. That becomes everything that matters and the only thing that people care about. So when you launch a token because you're consumed by the short-term potential benefits for yourself of doing that, you are just like actively sitting down and wicker manning both of your kneecaps just because you're blinded by whatever is 4 feet in front of you. And then next week's going to roll around and you're going to have to stand up again and you're wicker man. So
You're
I cannot.
Wicker Man.
That scene is just seared into my brain for the rest of my existence. 2 scenes from that movie. One,
Is that the one with Nick Cage where he runs around beating up women and gets set on fire?
yeah,
Yep.
Oh my God, what a great movie. It was so bad. I absolutely loved it.
dude, my family still to this day routinely quotes the step away from the bicycle when Nick Cage dressed in a bear costume bike jacks a nun riding a bicycle down a grassy field.
Dude, it's so good. Real
But
quick,
no.
Cisse says in the comments that there's an exception, and I think it's notable. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have more to articulate?
Yes.
Please go.
So,
I'll remember.
Mike, I will immediately concede that I did say almost. And I would say there's a small handful of projects I can think of that I think have done pretty well. I would say that lots of other ones just haven't realized the error of their ways yet. But for real, like I'm trying to, what do I want you to take away from this? Almost no one who launches a token understands that launching a token is not great. And then you might have a business model that like your company thinks will be enhanced by having a token, or you might be an individual who thinks I have a community and I'm going to enhance that community by tokenizing it and giving them a token to trade or whatever. That's what I mean by you're kneecapping yourself, because your life or your company's life or whoever's life is going to be consumed by the need to appease token holders as your primary responsibility. The amount of time that is going to be robbed from you to do the things your business thinks that they're going to do, it cannot be understated. And your whole purpose in life is about to become making token holders happy. I don't say this like to be mean, but this is just the way it is. No one on earth that I've ever seen is more entitled than someone who bought a token from you. If you want proof of that, go look in the Twitter comment section on anything with a token when the markets are down. There are always comments about what are you going to do to turn this around. It's like a project with a 1,400 people grant. That would be a big one. It's a project with 200 community members and a market cap of like $10 million. And the global economy is cratering, and they're like, hey, dumbass, what are you going to do to fix the price of your token? And I'm entitled to say this because I spent $10 on it a week ago, and now you owe me forever. So like right now you have people, and this is why I'm so pissed about the TikTokers that are launching their own fucking tokens all the time, because you guys are literally just ruining your own reputation for momentary bliss. And forever you'll be remembered as just another dumbass with a shitcoin. And I mean that as harshly as it sounds.
Yeah, that'll definitely happen once the bear market comes. No one will remember if the price went up. Everyone will just be online talking about how their price went down and how this person's a shifter and blah, 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 blah. Like all that kind of
Yeah, but
stuff.
here's the thing about that, though, is if one of those people has a comeback that involves them making other folks money, people really,
I
at
know.
this moment in time, again, as long as capital remains the incentive, the question is not, do I think you're a good person? There are some people who see the long term, but people are mostly incentivized to see, could you make me money? And that's why we continue to elevate and platform people who have questionable values.
I know, and I'm just doing my job, which is to sit here and tell you that you're not considering the big picture. So I keep seeing more and more people doing this, and people that I did not think were going to do it, doing it.
Aaron launches today. Is that Aaron of
Ministry of Crypto, Aaron?
Ministry of Crypto, Aaron?
Is that
Do you
you?
want a token?
Come on, man.
Yeah, well, good.
Let me
fucking
hear
luck,
about it.
dude. I just
He said he's
listen,
added utility. No, utility's bad this cycle. You want the coin to do nothing.
Right. Definitely not fine. I had a conversation yesterday with the guy who did Soul Bastard. I was in his live. Sonoran was in there. Saw me in there saying, "What are you doing to, what's your lawyer say? How is this compliant? Yada yada yada. Doing my duty for the culture in 140 characters or whatever we have in the comments." And he was like, "Oh, I tell people there's no expectation about price. This is not financial advice." And I just the palm I had at hand, no pun intended, was not big enough to face with. You know what I mean? It was just a ugh.
So two things. One, the SEC getting kneecapped by the Supreme Court last week is definitely something that's
Dude.
going to help. Yeah, two of my friends that are lawyers texted me when that happened, and they were like, for some reason, this isn't being discussed, but this is like the single biggest thing that's happened to the SEC ever. It's
I
going.
feel like it's been all over the crypto news.
I have not seen any content about it. None. Not a single thing.
I haven't either.
All of the major YouTubers I follow have all talked about it, and then I saw it on Twitter, but not as much as like.
Dude, I was actually laughing with Mac the other day because all of this stuff is happening, and like one of the biggest YouTube channels, which I have just this is why I'm so bearish on crypto influencers, and they need to go away. Like, you either need to be small.
Don't say that.
and
We are them.
No. There's a difference. There's a big difference. There's two kinds. There's the ones who I'm going to toot my own horn here for a minute, and I'll toot their horns as well. I don't really hate doing this. I like talking about myself. I'm here on the internet.
I'd make it a soundbite for sure.
One of the reasons that I feel like okay continuing to make the kind of content that I make is because I feel like I put in an honest effort to bring a different perspective. And the people that I'm upset with, I have no personal issues with. So like there was a specific video, Josh was talking to Altcoin Daily, and I have nothing. Josh is just the one here. I'm not upset with Josh. Josh is a very nice boy. The question that he asked, I don't know which of the Altcoin Daily guys it was, but he was just like, hey, markets are blah, blah, blah. What's your quick take or whatever? And I was listening to this guy answer the question. And I was just thinking to myself, like, holy shit, you know how much I learned from Altcoin Daily years ago, like when I was getting started in all of this? And now, like, what he just talked and he said nothing. You know what his hot take was as the owner of they've got to be top 3 biggest platforms in crypto, or at least pretty close to it. His big take was that markets are down. Now's a good time to buy stuff. I have my eye on Solana. And I was like, holy shit, dude.
Good take.
Incredible perspective. I thank you so much. Your millions of followers have been served today. But that's my beef. My beef is like, you can come in here and you can make content about crypto, and you can walk yourself to launching a token, and you can do the thing, which is look at the markets and state the obvious and get people who really just are desperate to make money to follow you and give you notoriety. Or you can try to find your angle to like bring something unique here, and you're not going to get as many views. You're not going to have as many followers if you're not making the price predictions and making the buy signals and, talking about launching your own shitcoin or doing whatever it is that, that you're doing. But you will actually teach somebody something. And I feel like that's not the point of 90% of crypto influencers. No one's trying to teach anyone anything. They're just trying to get famous. And that's the difference.
I actually want to make a quick PSA to people who just want to get famous, because in the acting world, there are a lot of people who start acting because they think it will make them famous.
Yeah.
If you want to be famous, the fastest, best, easiest way to do it,
Put
honestly,
your dick on the internet.
Well, I was going to say go be a children's doctor. But like truly, people love you famous. Go
slightly
work for
different avenues to fame between the two of you just now. But continue.
Right. The dialectics of fame. I don't disagree with that, by the way. I think honestly that's great. But if you just want like a certain sure path where everyone you wake up with, who you interact with, loves you, except maybe your family because they never see you, go be a children's doctor. Like
Yep.
seriously, or a veterinarian, and then post content about that. Like honestly, I don't know. Don't be an internet personality. Don't be a famous person. Mostly, you will hear no all day. Like and nobody really wants to be famous because could you imagine? I had this is a total tangent. I'll tell you about it later, but just remind me someday to tell you the story about Jim Carrey before he had his ego breakthrough and what life was like for him on movie set. I had an uncle who was an extra on a movie with Jim Carrey, and he just could not go anywhere without people harassing him and hassling him. And he had all these handlers. It's wild. You don't want to be like that.
The
You don't
perfect
want
level of fame is like C or B list celebrity, maybe even C list, right?
Agreed.
You get recognized maybe once like every other day out on the streets, and that's like a nice little thing, and you get to go and like be in rooms with certain people, like like that's the perfect level of fame.
Yeah, I would love to be like Jason Momoa before he became a superstar. When he was on that, what was the sci-fi show he was on? Stargate,
I
where
don't know.
like a niche audience would know him, like him, trust
Is
him.
he on Stargate?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think that was the name of the show where there's the portal and the people. I mean,
Stargate Atlantis? Is that a
Dude,
thing? Am I
it's not.
am I
It is a thing. It is a
mind-
thing. Jason Momoa, Stargate. I can't believe this is right. But basically, I agree with Will. And like at the end of the day, who's the guy who's hosting Family Feud right now? That's not it's not Steve Harvey anymore. It's that white comedian that I think is hilarious. Um,
I got nothing.
I wish I could think of his name. Yeah, Stargate Atlantis. The character's name is Ronan Dex.
Oh, Ron, that's holy
That's
shit.
Jason Momoa, dude.
What?
Did I just teach you something about pop culture? Wow.
What?
Yeah, holy. All right, I
Amazing.
retired.
Yeah, that's Jason Momoa, and like at that time he was just a niche celebrity. But it would be great if you were a BC list celebrity that didn't get hassled. Maybe once in a while in Target somebody said, "Oh my gosh, I loved you in this movie. Can I take your picture?" And then the barista at Starbucks was like, "Your coffee's on me," or they called you up and were like, "Would you like to host a game show?" And you got $20,000 a day to basically show up and do this. Like that would be. We could do
Exactly.
that.
That would be perfect.
That would be perfect.
Yeah. And then you get to be in like, I don't know, maybe like one or two like national commercials, but they run a lot, and those are the best paydays. Those are just solid, consistent paydays.
Big
Those
time.
are great.
Flo's grandkids from Progressive, they're set for life.
No, they're set for life.
For life. Jake from State Farm has heirs who don't exist yet, who will be finer than you and me. You know what I mean? Like they're done. They're over. It's done. Jesus. Okay. Let me get us back on track. And Alex, can you hear me where you are?
Alex!
Just holler if you can hear me, because I want you to hear this. I want him to hear this. Okay.
That's enough.
Before Alex gets back, let me do the obligatory commercial and say, hey, if you're watching this show, especially if you're watching for the first time, you should know these are our only accounts. We are never going to DM you. We're never going to tell you, hey, bro, we're never going to ask you how your time in the markets has been, try to sell you access to a Telegram group, a trading bot, anything like that. The only thing we're going to try and sell you is a Rise Up Morning Show coffee mug, which, have you seen it? The official mug of the official morning show of the Financial Revolution. Or like a premium membership to the Discord community, which is free to join, by the way.
Or my crypto research template, which you can find on my crypto page for $20 to be able to learn how to investigate and research cryptocurrencies in the same way that I do, with prompts and questions and guidance written by me in it for you.
Honestly, you really should go buy that first, because what we're trying to do is get Will here all the time, not just when his office is on break. So if you want to support independent creators, it's wonderful when you send us gifts. But TikTok takes a big cut of that. The best, most helpful way to do that is by supporting this platform first with your attention and your time. It's your most valuable asset. But then doing those kind of things. Buy the products if you find them valuable. And then
your money. And definitely your money. Absolutely your money. Support us with your money.
And you can do that through
Guys,
all the different services that we have. You can find them all at theriseupmorningshow.com. Most of it's free, like the Monday through Thursday streams, like the once weekly newsletter, like the YouTube channel, like the general chat and community at the Discord. But I promise you there is so much good value there, and none of it is going to come from lookalike accounts who ask you to send them money, okay? Stay safe out there. That's what we got to do.
If anybody needs your support, it is me. I am a struggling, straight, white, Protestant, Anglo-Saxon male
Conventionally handsome.
who lives in Boston and has been a 1% earner for many years now, and I need your money to be able to be on TikTok full time.
Well, if it's not Will, it's definitely me and Alex. I am I don't have
What?
stats like that. But
No, it's me. I need it. I need it more. I need it so much more, guys.
Okay.
These teeth have been slightly less white, and I need to get like at least a shade up, and I got to pay those
what's
like
that facial product you were telling me about? Mona Lisa, Lisa Bonet.
Paula's Choice, Paula's Choice.
Paula. I don't
It's
know.
a BCAA chemical
It ain't gonna
exfoliant.
buy itself.
That close ain't gonna buy itself. It's actually not even that expensive too, which is amazing. It's great.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the commercial. Join us here. Stay safe from scammers. Find all the links at theriseuppmorningshow.com. Also, my apologies if you were expecting a newsletter this weekend. I did not send it. I had a weekend from just distraction hell. Everything small and mostly just inconvenient that could go wrong went wrong. So my apologies. You will get a newsletter later this week that is going to summarize some of the changes that have been happening in the Discord community that will make us more accessible to you, better stewards of your time and attention, how you can get more involved. We're launching classes finally, and you'll have an update on that that's coming like midweek. Alex,
That's what I owe you. I owe you guys something. I got to update my calendar.
update your calendar, Will. I'm waiting on that, man.
I'll do that today. I'm sorry.
Son of a bitch.
It would help.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's not urgent, but it's urgent. It's all Alex, I need to take you back about 14 minutes ago when we were talking about tokens, because I don't disagree with anything you said, but I also think that while 99% of companies who launch a token are creating a product that everyone is going to have an expectation on return from, I think there is a 1% sector, a niche in the crypto space that is experimenting with what tokens can be, like we talk about, a medium to give a tangible form to intangible things, sometimes tied to dollars, but mostly indirectly. And I think those people are doing exciting, novel things with tokens, or, hang on, let me finish this, when they're not, that they are at least thinking about tokens in a way that I want them to continue to experiment with tokens so that we can have a better story that proliferates when people realize the new potential for value beyond just number go up. What do you think?
You know damn well that's not who I'm talking about.
I do, but I want them to be represented in the conversation because, we were talking about Drip House over the weekend.
Yes.
We hope to have him on the show. We've been playing with Dracula. We've been playing with Warpcast. A lot of the different tools that are coming out of that niche sector of consumer crypto are tokenizing things that matter to people as a way to draw them deeper into the experiences that they enjoy, give them new ways not to just extract value, but to kind of lean into experiences, relationships. I don't get any value necessarily from taking a picture and posting it on Zora more than I do on Instagram. The Instagram user experience is better. There are more people there. I can comment and do more stuff, but I can't even articulate it yet personally. I just know that I want to be experimenting with and cultivating a vocabulary for why tokenizing things matters to me. It just is another facet of my, you and I have a relationship, we have a friendship. And so the same way I want to share many words with you, many cups of coffee with you, clean dog crap out of kennels together, like build memories. I want to have tokens that represent that so that when I'm old and dead and gray, I don't know, just like I want to have pictures of that, if that makes sense. And I think most of the forms of value that we will see around that have yet to be invented. So we need people to play with it so we can get there sooner.
Yes, but you are describing such a specific fringe niche of this industry that is undoubtedly important But I would counter that none of the people who are doing it that way are going through the channels that I'm like concerned about. They're not. They're not being discovered. They're being completely overlooked by the vast majority of
Right.
the crypto populace.
Or,
So
or the general populace.
and that's why certainly the general populace, but even within the industry, which is why I was comfortable lumping them into my almost everyone, because that's not the now it's like the because I agree, you listed some very good examples. I am super bullish on the idea of just tokenizing things that matter, and allowing people to own them. And what's really funny is that I constantly have this conversation with one of my best friends who is not a crypto fan at all. Consistently, actually, he's very much a grandpa whenever it comes to technology in general. Just like, I mean, this is a guy who doesn't think that LLMs are like worth looking at and that none of those skills matter. And I'm just like, dude, you are such a cave person. But
Kind of guy. Yeah.
the conversation we always have is that like he gets the idea. So he has a Steelcase DVD collection. Every time a movie comes out that he likes, he spends a lot of money on the collector's edition Steelcase for the Blu-ray or the DVD, whatever. And he has tons of them. And it is a beautiful collection. Like the shelf in his office with all these things. I mean, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Sicarios. That's a great movie, by the way.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But the steel case for Sicario is one of the prettiest things I've ever seen. It's so nice. And when you ask him why he does that, it's because he says he wants to own his copy of the movie. And I'm like, no shit. That's what I'm trying to communicate. He's like, no. But it's because he's consumed by this thing, which is like VXV, as a great example of just like a thing that doesn't need a token. And yet that's one of the ones that people all have heard about. It absolutely doesn't have to exist. It added absolutely nothing to the space. It took money from all kinds of people and it wasted everyone's time. And how many, I mean, we could go on for the whole show and just list tickers of projects that fit into that space of just like, this doesn't need a token. This doesn't need a token. This doesn't need a token. Why are we all so excited about it? And it's like you said, right? Because the goal is just to make money through whatever vehicle. We don't care what it is. We don't care who it is. We don't care what it does. As long as it can pump, then we can buy it. So that's the part that I'm trying to communicate to people, that like, take it from me, someone who has launched a tokenized community and maintains it to this day. It is not easy and it is consuming, and you need to put in so much work for so little in return. I got paid one time from the whole thing, and I've been working for years for free now, because that's just the expectation. I can no longer charge these people money. No matter what happens, I can never ask them for money again and still like save any kind of a face. They're either, there's only three things. They're either completely tuned out, they're pissed off, or they're one of the 14 people that understood what the point was, and feel like they made their own bed and they're lying in it. It's not fun. I don't recommend it. I will probably, that's not a problem. I won't do it again because it sucks.
So let me take
That's
it back
the
to
thing
this notion of products and roadmaps. Like, generally speaking, we could go through and name the projects like Alex said. We could go down a list of creators, of tokens, of companies that are doing this. But if you had to TLDR it, you're saying don't invest your time, your money, or attention in products. How would you encapsulate it? Maybe
just expect them to run out of steam, because they will. Because these are things that are run by people that are often getting nothing in return except for hatred and vitriol from unhappy customers. They do have an expiration date, and they will run out of steam, and the community will harass them away from their job. It happens. That, I mean, it used to be kind of a meme, how many like NFT project founders were stepping away for mental health reasons. The reason that I believe it to be true is because these are people who like fell into a thing. They did something, and then they just got endless harassment and hatred, and then they just couldn't take it anymore, and they walked away. There was the expectation that like you couldn't have made any money. I vividly remember, I still do it to this day, have to like explain why it was okay to pay people who worked on TFM for their time. Like, that's looked at as being a bearish thing. It's a thing. You launch a token. How do you now, as the company who is running the token, how do you capitalize on your token's volume without dumping on your holders? That's a problem that people are genuinely trying to solve, and they're genuinely confused about how to do it.
Well, and that's the thing about community. We had someone ask about community takeovers last week too. Why I'm generally so bearish on that is because you are stepping into a job where the incentive model is you versus the people who bought and held your token. And most of the time, one of the biggest conflicts that arises is when these people, often sort of self-elected because they become active in the community and they say, trust me, I will take on this responsibility, propose or just elect to pay themselves. And usually someone somewhere who invested in the token has a problem with that. They almost expect that these people will do something for nothing.
They don't almost expect, they do expect.
Well, and also on the other end of the spectrum, there are, like, we're sympathetic to the founders for sure, but I also am sympathetic to, like you just said, whether it's RWA, whether it's AI, whether it's gaming, whatever, most of these projects don't need a token. And the people who found these products, what they are founding is a security whose proposition of value is number go up. Sometimes there's an actual product attached. Sometimes it's just a digital token. And what they are doing is asking you to pay them to maintain this idea, this theme, which is not necessarily like a product. That's why we always talk about utility. Is there utility? And people have tried to fool you into thinking there's utility, but there may be utility, but the product is a token, or the product is a miner to get the token, or something like that. An LLM that uses the token, a DAO that uses the token to fund or to buy or to whatever. The product is a token.
I don't mean it to sound like I'm exclusively sympathetic to the founder, because a lot of the times they make the decision, with no intention of doing the thing, just because they know, like, well, up front there's a quick payday and then I can disappear because that's what everybody does. My sympathies are also to the people who just don't know that this is how it goes. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. Like, I'm sitting here as a tokenized project founder telling you that it is not fun, and that the vast majority of it is very stressful. It's completely thankless, and you are usually just having to play defense. Arcade is the perfect example. They launched a tokenized economy that they put a tremendous amount of thought and R&D into, and then KuCoin made one small mistake on launch day, and they've never recovered. Never.
What happened? I thought Arcade was doing great.
No, Arcade is not doing great. Arcade is constantly playing defense because the product is fine. The service is great. The mission pools are up. It's live. The service works. Everything about it is fine. But their token price is not doing well because the market's in the shitter. And they were extra kneecapped because KuCoin listed the wrong token address on launch day, and it took several hours to fix. So there was like a huge loss of initial momentum and excitement. And now you have an instance where the pre-sale are underwater. And I mean, I'm in the KOL group. Every single post in there is like, what the fuck, guys? And the team is just like trying to do their real job. And yet they have to spend all their time defending the price of the token. That's what I'm saying. The existence of a token is one of the least healthy things you can do for an ecosystem that actually is supposed to like do a utility. And I'll never understand. I pose this question on Twitter all the time. I've yet to get a single answer. why, if you're building something on a blockchain, why not just use the native currency? Like if you're building a game on Avalanche, just use fucking AVAX. You can sell it and no one's going to bat an eye. You know what I mean? Like you don't need your own token. Fucking newsflash. I say this to all of you people watching because you should be way more critical of tokens than you are. And still to this day, I keep getting questions like, hey, what do you think about this late steaming pile of shit that doesn't mean anything? And I'm like, I don't know what to say anymore. It's like, you know what I think. I think I hate it. I don't know anything about it, but I don't like it. And I just...
Alex.
Well, it's because, the thing is it's almost impossible to avoid creating a token because that's the only way that you get your project's name out because it's the most powerful form of marketing. But it's a double-edged fucking sword, as you pointed out, because if it goes down, so too does your user adoption. And then you have to be a special project that can survive a bear market, which you have to be anyway, for the price to go back up again because you kept working on it and it's still a hot trend and you have to have all these other things line up. But the only way that you get adoption is if you have the best marketing tool ever, which is price go up.
Yep.
And that's it. That's why you can't avoid it if you want to actually truly achieve your goal and get adoption outside of the blockchain space and from people in the real world. You need that marketing presence that only comes with the price of the token going up, but it's also a poison, as you have highlighted.
I just really, we haven't seen that I've maybe someone has seen this and can turn me on to something new, but I genuinely want to see like a game launch or something start working and functioning that is using like the underlying asset as their incentive, because you can piggyback on the great marketing and exposure you'll get from Solana doing well if you're a game built on Solana that doesn't make its own shitcoin but that just uses Sol. And so your treasure, you raise funds, you buy Sol with it, or do whatever, like, believe it or not, venture capital has been investing in startups long before people had tokens to sell to VC firms. You can do it again if your idea isn't dog shit. You just have to try. So we've removed the incentive for a startup to be legitimately valuable because you can launch a token and the VC knows they can flip a profit on the token up front because it's going to have initial volume. Even if it dies, who fucking cares? So we've completely removed or changed, like Evan would say, the incentive structure for a startup to be legitimately valuable. It just has to be initially explosive and make the initial bag. And we know that we're just going to then have a fleet of bag holders forever, but who cares about them? They're just little piddly retail investors and they'll gamble on another shitcoin next week and maybe some of them will make their money back. But we haven't seen very many, if any, startups launch in the crypto space and just use the underlying token for their thing,
But we are getting a big explosion of that on Avalanche pretty damn
Good.
Soon, those Avalanche games, which will be cool to see.
Can we elaborate on games specifically and what we mean about, because Tech CEO had a question, and I think all of you both can give great context for this. Like, if the launch a token, sell it to people, that's the means by which the influencers, the supporters, the founders make money. But that's, we're saying, not the way, because it's not like long-term valuable for all parties. It pits, the incentive model is bad, pits us against them. What would be the model if we're talking about like a blockchain game? We want it to be on the blockchain because we know blockchain is great. We know tokens can enhance the experience of gamers. And we think this can outcompete the traditional model. But we're not sure, like, okay, so if the token isn't just a number go up token, then why is it that we're going to get paid? My answer was they get paid because they're going to sell a product or service that people want. But why is a blockchain game, like some of the games we're seeing on Avalanche or Ronin or Immutable X, going to be something people want to buy and support with money that will make their founders, their investors rich? Why is it a good play? Can you give an overview of that again?
The only thing that'll make people want to play any of those is if they're fun to play. Like, it has nothing to do with the blockchain piece of it. If the question, as you said, is and what you meant to ask is that simple, what's going to get people to play it? Is it fun? That's what's going to get people to play it. And like, then you'll have more people. Like, the only reason why people ever played Axie Infinity wasn't because Axie Infinity was a good time. It's because people at the height of the bull run were actually making like good money, like $40,000 to like $80,000 a year type money from that kind of stuff. And that's a lot of money, particularly in Asia Pacific, where most of the game players were. But just because you have a game that makes you money, right? And the price of Axie blew up also, which was a huge marketing event and more people went to go experiment with it. But like the player count's down. I mean, like player count for all games eventually goes down, but like it wasn't a fun game. What's going to get people to play something is if it's genuinely fun. And then blockchain stuff's just happening in the background. And then, of course, I'm sure there'll be like an Axie Infinity as well, where the gameplay is maybe not that great, but people are making money. And then if we can have both those pair, that'd be great from a marketing standpoint. But like that's it. It's the big sticky thing is it actually fun to play?
I agree. But I want Alex to elaborate on why I don't necessarily think play to earn is it in the law. I think it's also a fugazi. And I know Alex has a lot of thoughts on this in terms of how tokens can add value beyond play my game, get my token. Can you elaborate, Alex, like why there is value created from tokens in the context of a blockchain game? You talk about it all the time.
I mean, I guess a couple things. One, we the consumer of the video game industry consistently pay money for something that we don't get to like acquire. Like you're constantly out there just buying shit and you get nothing.
Like your DVD friend.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back in the day, you used to buy a video game, you'd get a disc, and you would have the disc, and you'd own it, and that'd be all fine and good. And then you had a thing, and you could go sell it. Insert meme about how bad GameStop's trade-in prices are. But that is not really the way of the world anymore. Now you just download it from the Xbox store, and then all you're doing is paying someone for permission to use it as long as they see fit to let you use it. So the Web3 value prop there is, things like NFTs give you the ability to own a piece of digital property that can be proven as singular and yours. That has not existed before. So Web3 tools and methodologies can enhance your experience as a gamer because, once again, you can own the things that you pay for. And then you can use it further to acquire things from a game ecosystem that are important to you. And the proof for that being a thing that people give a shit about is the existence of the absolutely massive aftermarket and black market on World of Warcraft, RuneScape, Ultima Online, CSGO, like all sorts of other gaming ecosystems that have digital items that mean something in the game that have translated into a tangible real world value. I mean, gold farming for money on RuneScape has been a thing since RuneScape was a thing. So much so that RuneScape has implemented in-game changes to try to stop it from happening. So people care about that kind of stuff. I don't know how much, the going rate for accounts are these days, but like back in the day when I was in high school, you could level up a RuneScape account and sell it for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So people have been enjoying the idea of that NFTs and tokens, whatever, just kind of give you an easier vehicle to like move those things around and then, prove that you bought it, that you own it, that you whatever.
Yeah, so it's not just play to earn in the traditional sense that you are exchanging your time for dollars and cents the way you would at a job. It is what we always say that tokens, they are a new medium. They give a tangible form to intangible things in totally novel ways. You cannot capture with a word or with a memory the same way you can capture something with a token. If I am the #1 League of Legends or Destiny player this month, and Destiny or League of Legends creates a token from their official account and issues it to me, not only would such a thing become valuable as a marker of that achievement in a way that just telling my friends or showing them it can't be forged, can't be faked, can't be stolen from me. But think about not only the monetary value that could represent, but the kind of doors that would open for me forever when I went to, whatever, CES, G3, any of the events, any of the summits, and I can walk up to somebody and they don't need to know anything about me. They don't need to know my name. They don't need to know where I live, and they can effortlessly, errorlessly verify when I hold up my wallet or access it by signing a message. I'm the guy. And it's a way to prove that.
This is the thing though, like if we talk about it from the sense that like, yeah, this is a thing that could have monetary value in the future, you immediately set someone up with a bad expectation, because I would not say that the thing that you acquire from the game, whatever, here's my go-to example now. This is already important, right? Like, because Bungie, Destiny sells stuff. So like, you do something in the game and your account unlocks something, you become qualified to buy specific things from their website, right? So like this badge, I forget how much it cost. I think I spent like $10 on it or something. But in order to get permission to buy this, I had to do stuff in game. It's the dungeon and the raid patch from the last cycle of the game, right? So to get it, you had to complete all of these end game activities and win this and finish that and beat this dungeon and whatever. And then all their little logos are on it. So like, they sell these, right? They sell a shitload of them. So it's already a thing that we can understand as being important. The only thing that we're adding in the Web3 side is just give me the digital version of this. Because if I go to E3, like you said, and I have my jacket or my backpack and I have all of my, year in review Destiny patches sewn to it, I don't know that you didn't just buy this from someone else or someone, whatever. I have like no way to prove that this is like the real one, or that I actually did the thing, or whatever. But I also don't need to be able to sell this for $10,000 to feel like it was worth my time. If it remains worth $15 for the rest of my life, great. So to Will's point, Axie started this, I think, maybe semi of a recovery, but they were just a lesson for other things. Like, you do yourself dirty by making it seem like this is a replacement for your income, that like all of a sudden you can earn a full-time living from playing the game. And that if you're not earning 60 grand a year from the game, then it's not worthwhile. It's like, in order for Destiny to be worthwhile to me, to like pay for itself, I need to earn $120 a year from it, and if there was a way for me to do that, then the whole thing would all of a sudden become a profitable enterprise. So I'm kind of just like waiting for that to be the narrative, because right now it's not. It's like, I'm either opening a sweatshop in Southeast Asia to farm game assets, or I'm wasting my time.
What is your thought, Will?
We should have the Rise Up sweatshop.
Will, has Alex ever told you about the guy who tried to sell us on the idea of a sweatshop at a conference?
Wait, what? Like, genuinely?
If I had $1 for every time somebody legitimately pitched a sweatshop to me, I would have $3. But that's a lot of sweatshops that have been pitched to me.
A lot of sweatshops.
Yeah, one of those dollars was from Bitcoin 2021 in Miami. We were hanging out with this guy that I had met that had told me, and I believed him because he didn't seem like the charismatic, like, let me pull the wool over your eyes. He was extremely uncharismatic kind of guy who told me that he was an advisor for Casper.
Time out. Really quick, Will, just for some context. When you go to a conference with Evan, you have to be a little bit careful, and you kind of have to wrangle him sometimes, because Evan is such a nice person that he will give way too much of his time to just every shithead who walks across his path, because Evan immediately loves them and immediately wants to assume the best. So like,
that's the best though, because then if I'm at a conference with Evan starts talking to somebody, I'll gauge that immediately and I'll go, sweet, like a sticky fly trap. Evan has caught the bug for me, and I'll go find someone to talk to.
That's exactly right.
That's 100% it. So the context for this is that Evan approaches me with one of these flies that he's caught, and Evan's over here assuming the best, and he didn't get the whole story, and then we started talking.
And then we got the whole story, which is basically that this guy, whether or not he is an advisor for, the once upon a time interesting blockchain Casper, not Caspa, Casper. This is 2021, remember?
I remember.
Says, what would be great? Coinbase is cool, but their customer service sucks. He said, what if your favorite crypto project, I don't remember which one he used, I think it was Coinbase, had a customer service that like you could charge your holders a monthly fee to access, but it was staffed just by like people in a third. You could get people from the Philippines or people from Argentina, and you could pay them pennies on the dollar, man. and you could staff them. You don't have to do anything. You could manage them remotely, and they could just answer questions for your audience, and you could just collect the paycheck. And I'm misrepresenting how bad he made it sound like hot in that room, packed in that room.
I want it to be hot and crowded.
Children. He was just like ready to cut any corner to make $1. And Alex, I was like kind of entertaining him, like kind of like, I was going to let him finish his thought, but Alex was like, absolutely, unequivocally, no. He said, I have no interest in perpetuating the harms that were, I don't remember what he said, but it was concise. And it was, he flipped the table on this guy. It was great.
The man just, he stood there with a straight face and pitched me a sweatshop call center wherein he could take advantage of people who would work for a very small amount of money. And he made a point to specifically tell me that we don't even have to train them. They only have to know how to read. And I was just like, are you seriously standing here pitching a sweatshop with near slave labor to me right now?
What I would have done is I would have seen that, and depending on if I had like time or anything, I'd be like, so I'm going to give you my revenue streams, and I want you to make me a P&L chart on the sweatshop. I was like, I want you to show me the numbers, and I want a full PowerPoint presentation from you in 1 week's time.
Yeah, right. Just keep him busy so he doesn't hurt anybody. Exactly.
Just so I can get this presentation on how the sweatshop can grow my grow my business.
Now, in my defense and credit, I would like to say that while I do attract a lot of flies, I definitely have like a sign above my head. I think I also probably have an outsized ability to get access to a lot of some of the people in life that you want to hang out with are weird as hell. And I think we have a pretty good I love going to conferences, with Alex, and I love Will. I'm sure it'd be the same with you. We all fill a very different role. Like you couldn't hire an Alex. You probably couldn't hire a me. You couldn't hire a Will. You couldn't hire a Mac. And the different kinds of people that we attract, it's so interesting, the different kinds of skills we bring. But one of my skills is if you need to get in, I'm already there. Whether it's a guy in a suit or maybe a bum on the street, if they're guarding the door and you got to get past them, like just send me in, man. I'm going. I'm getting behind you. And mostly I won't know how it happened. We just got there.
Well, I'm excited for when the day comes where the three of us can be at a conference. That'll be fun.
I know. We just have to line one up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rug all of you guys in Nashville. Unfortunately. Well,
I'm the only one going to Nashville, aren't I?
He's the only one going. I rugged Nashville to. I'm gonna go visit my grandparents again. I'm sad about it. But Will, seriously, and anybody watching, let me make this offer to anybody. If you are somebody who wants to learn more about crypto stuff, definitely go to conferences, and definitely let us know if you're going to go. You don't need a ticket to go to a conference and get the benefit. You can just find a cheap Airbnb in proximity on the weekend of a big conference and go to satellite events. If you are a TikTok creator, if you have a media presence, or even if you want to like represent a community and take some pictures, I would gladly apply for a media pass for you. I'm waiting to hear back from the Bitcoin Nashville people to see if they're going to give me a media pass that I can send to Rick, our good friend and community member.
I applied for a media pass too.
Hell yeah. It's a free thing. Most of the time they're cool. They allot passes for that kind of thing. You get access, and they I don't know. The security's kind of lax anyway. It's worth it to get an Airbnb and just show up, even if they tell you no and all you do is satellite events, right?
Yeah, I need to go and look up the satellite events too. I just haven't done it, but now that we're in July, I probably should.
You'll as soon as you get there, the things start to percolate. I would say, to agree with Evan, definitely, if you want to see the real nitty gritty of the industry, go to a conference. Do not spend your money on the overpriced ticket to the conference. This car has made a lap in front of my house 3 times in the last 20 minutes.
Oh shit! Are you getting visited?
I mean,
by someone alive.
You
just they're really struck. There's no reason to come in front of my house, by the way.
No, Alex lives at the end of the street in a neighborhood, so it's like you go there to go there kind of thing.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, when I was at the Bitcoin 2020 conference, I went to the Algorand party afterwards. And I met all the Algorand guys because I had a buddy who worked for them for 2 years. And I met the head data scientist dude from MIT, whatever his name is. And then one of the guys offered me a job, and I was like, no. I was like, no. I didn't want to be. I was tempted, but I didn't want to be associated to a CBDC generative coin. And I was like, I don't like what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah.
But,
No, sorry, I got distracted. So, side note, I just didn't recognize the driver, but it's a kid learning to drive with their parents, and I just realized when he just made a 19-point turn to turn around in a cul-de-sac, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like your second or third time behind the wheel.
no, this makes sense.
Alex, you almost baseball batted a kid learning to drive. How do you feel today?
If the camera zoomed down, there's just like a sawed-off shotgun in his lap.
almost being the operative term. Will, it's funny you say that because one of the worst events I've ever been to in my whole career was a Cardano party. Evan was there.
I find that funny given all the Cardano talk we do sometimes.
Yeah, side note, sometimes what you said about the crypto tokens, Cardano is definitely one of those tokens that the tech is cool and promising, but the product is a token. They made enough money that they're here still. They could have been gone, but the token was a successful enough marketing tool that they're here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And honestly, the party made me bearish.
Mac, Evan, and I were all there together, and we like left it being like, dude, nothing has made me want to sell all my ADA more than this party. It was, dude, I can't believe the thing didn't get shut down. It was like at the top floor of a building that you needed to take this one single rickety elevator to. There were no stairs, and the elevator could only hold like 8 people at a time. And there was probably 150 people up there. And most of the party was just like a guy who definitely had too much to drink, just like screaming at people through a megaphone while music that was like way too loud just like kept blaring. And then there was it was so strange. We got lured to the party by Charles Hoskinson's executive assistant.
Yeah.
And then he like rugged and didn't even show up, and like nobody important was there. And it was just like a bunch of Cardano degens screaming at each other in megaphones, drinking way too much. And we like awkwardly stood there and then left. It was
like,
terrible.
we should get out of here.
Hey, what's going on, Tech CEO?
Hey there.
Dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I literally love your content. I always learn so much. Super exciting. I feel honored just being on here right now. When you were talking about like the decentralized social media exchanges, like, or creating that, and you were saying, Evan, about like you can make services or products and that's how they can get paid. I was thinking about utilizing the token for the actual like social media influencers and like their followers to get paid. That's what I was kind of thinking.
Have you seen some of the models that have done that? Are you hip to them? Like,
no, not at all. I'm actually kind of new to all this. So
okay, so I can send you a message about this, but anybody who wants to play along at home, I would start by checking out Warpcast, which is built on a network called Farcaster, the same way Polygon is an L2 built on Ethereum. Farcaster is a decentralized protocol that anyone can build on top of, and Warpcast is basically Twitter, but make it crypto. You can tokenize posts. You can have posts that link you to blockchain stuff, so you can buy a token in a post. You can have a token that you share with your followers for liking and engaging. You can tip people in crypto in the comments by saying like, Tech CEO, here's 20 degen or whatever. That kind of thing. It's integrated in that way, but there are many experiments in tokenizing your platform as a creator.
I was even like thinking of along the lines of even like their followers getting paid, like, oh, top followers or the most viewers or longest watch time. Like they're getting like maybe a 5% allocation of the influencers' funds that they can kind of determine.
There are definitely experiments like that too.
I remember his Steam it, but I'm getting old now.
Old is the thing.
Didn't Steam it have payments
in
for
its
followers?
First iteration wanted to be like that. There was a platform called Kavari that wanted to be the YouTube version of that, where you watch to earn or create to earn. Right now, the ones that are alive are Lens Protocol, Farcaster, which is what Warpcast is built on, also what Dracula with a K is built on, and Alex and I are exploring one right now called Drip House. but there's one called Zora that's like Instagram, that you can tokenize posts on and post to earn or collect to earn. There are a lot of them. And maybe Alex and I were talking this week about doing a video on YouTube that was going to be a long form unpacking of the current state of decentralized social. But there are absolutely creator tokens, post to earn, watch to earn, engage to earn, different mechanics of that.
Yeah, and even kind of piggybacking off what you're saying earlier about like the play to earn, kind of the same concept of, some people they can just pay for the upgrades or you can sell your accounts like Alex was mentioning, but also, you just have the ability to play for free or you just earn, maybe you pay a monthly subscription, but then it's like half price if you put in like 48 hours total gameplay that month, or maybe you get paid if you play, you're just 24/7 round the clock, don't even sleep, just constantly playing the game. Then you're like, oh, you made $4 or something. I don't know. But I was just kind of curious on like the legalities around that and like, if that's a potential in the future, because if anyone's going to figure out why you can't do it, it's Alex. And that's why I literally love the show.
What do you think, Alex?
You can absolutely do that kind of stuff. The biggest layer of defense that you have there is if you're requiring effort or action on behalf of the individual who is receiving the token, then you're outside of the worry zone for securities violations. That's one of the tenets of the Howey test, is that for no work, you have an expectation of profit based on the work of others.
Gotcha.
So that I wouldn't worry about. The problem then becomes like, okay, well, who gives a shit about the thing that you're paying me in, and why does anybody want it? And so that's the thing that ends up, I think, killing pretty much all of these things eventually, is that, okay, so like you just laid out, right? We have project, it's some kind of decentralized social, or it's a game, or it's whatever, and I'm incentivized to do the thing exclusively to get this token, which means that I am handing this token out to people, and there is only one thing that they want to do with it, and that is to make money with it. So all of the incentive for having the token is to sell it. And there is no reason to buy any of it except to speculate on the future value of it. That will die as soon as the markets crater, and then you have a bunch of people with a shitload of this token that they want to sell. And that turns out to be the only reason they were there in the first place. This is what happened with AXS. The game turns out just like wasn't good enough at first. And so they had all that kind of shitstorm. This is now years ago. So that's why I'm nervous about things like this that launch with their own token up front, just because, you got to prove that like using the thing is fun enough, sans token, before I think the token can actually matter.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, getting the proof of concept down and then like pushing out that way. There's been like a random coin that's been coming around. I guess it's on the Ton chain and it's called Not Token. And I guess that's tap to earn. Like, how does, like, I was just trying to figure that. I'm like, are they tapping on apps tapping on advertisements, or they're just showing the engagement and interaction so that they can sell that later on down the road? Like, what would be the utility? Or it's just like the buzz where everybody's like, oh, we just tap to earn, like, let's buy the tokens, let's just get on because it sounds easy enough and it's a new narrative or something. Like, what's kind of your thoughts on that? And after that, I'll let you guys go and let you have your full show. But those are a couple of questions I was kind of interested in.
Yeah, I haven't looked into Notcoin in terms. I know it was a gaming coin on the Ton coin ecosystem that was doing phenomenally. It's like the first altcoin on Toncoin to really do well. Yeah. But I didn't really look into the game itself, so I didn't even know it was like a tap game. But we've had those happen before, and the only reason why their value goes up is because you have just like people who are just like rifters, just like trying to make a quick buck off of it, and then they set up a machine that taps for them, and they set it up, and it runs 24/7. And then you have those interaction numbers kind of go up. So that's all I really. I haven't done a deep dive on Notcoin though, outside of just being aware that it was like the first gaming coin to do well price wise in the Toncoin ecosystem. That's all I got. So I don't know it in depth. Sorry.
And do you think maybe why it was successful though is because people are just tapping away? Because like just like when you can move your mouse at work or something, they have like machines for that. So it shows you working. Kind of the same concept where I'm like, oh well, how many taps you got to do? Because I can tap pretty fast. And that's getting more engagers. I'm like, well, if it's brand new and you can make a couple bucks, I'll give it a quick shot. But then obviously you're not going to make a couple bucks. You'll probably make 1 penny for 24 hours of work or whatnot. Once those bots or those autonomous machines, like obviously they can run some code to like look into the frequency of how many taps per second. And like, if it's the same exact number, then you're banned. So you're going to have to change up that pretty much like not necessarily the latency, but the, I guess it's just taps per second or taps per minute. They'd have to change up that number potentially, or even if they're even looking into that yet. But I don't know,
think
these
they
are
really
just, like, so
care,
many
'cause the
things
thing
that
is,
like run through my head, and I'm like trying to figure out what's what.
Well,
Yeah.
to Will's point, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
They and that's the challenge too, is they, meaning the founders, on the other end, they're just trying to get people's attention, because money goes where attention flows. And the problem they're going to have is, how much money do they have from token sales, from fundraising to sustain this? Because that tapping, that engagement in itself is not generating any value. The same way that a game like Pokemon generating attention that will convert to merch sales and card sales and movie sales is creating value. These projects are going to have to find a way, whether they're watch to earn, play to earn, whatever, they're going to have to find a way to create value within their ecosystem. Otherwise, the fundraising money, the marketing money is going to dry up, and they're going to go bye-bye. And that's 99% of projects with a crypto token right now, whatever niche they're in.
All right, guys, we do have a little bit of breaking news.
Okay.
And it's a liquidity generating event within Solana. Another one, because Solana desperately needed liquidity. PayPal just released their stablecoin on Solana, PYUSD, and it's on Jupiter right now. I just saw that tweet come in, and I got a little distracted like halfway through a conversation. I was like, ooh. So PayPal has a stablecoin on Solana on Jupiter, which is interesting. Most interesting. Yeah. But anyway, more money in crypto. Hooray.
Tech CEO, can I get you, before you said you were going to hop off, but can I get you to pitch your crypto battles live stream? Because I think those are honestly going to be a lot of fun.
I appreciate it. I'm still like working out the kinks. I'd still love to have you on the show with it. And like Will and Alex, if I can ever convince you to hop on one day, that'd be really cool in the future. But I still got to work out the kinks. We're going to launch our first episode. We're aiming for August. Might try to ramp it up, but it's crypto battles where chat's going to learn and earn. And I think it's going to be a great way for chat to just learn about crypto, maybe earn some crypto. And the way they're going to do that is 2 projects battling out against each other. They each get an elevator pitch while they're good, a minute of talking trash while the project's bad, and then chat's going to vote for the winner, King of the Hill style. And if everyone says they have the best project, great community, if you want a competitive advantage, then bring your community in. And so, what was I going to say? The cool part about this is chat's going to learn like, oh, here's all what people say to shill it. And then the other project's going to talk trash. So you're going to see all the red flags. So chat's going to be learning, oh, watch out for this honeypot. Oh, we should have went to Dex and looked this up. And then they're going to point out all the red flags. And like, instead of me trying to shill a coin or learn about it, because I'm not like a subject matter expert in every single industry, just let the devs battle it out. Let the founders battle it out. So that's kind of the concept.
That sounds fun. I like that.
Yeah, I think quality edutainment is always, I'm permanently bullish.
And I'm probably going to need Alex's help with this because I have to first I got an agent in the works, but I have to figure out how to make sure that chat gets paid correctly. Like I want to make it 100% fair, that there's no ambiguity or any chances that I could even like scam them over or anything. I want it to be completely fair. But also, like, since I'm going to be giving away coins, like in here I mark it as 18 and up, but there's got to be some legality, I'm thinking. Or maybe I'm just straight because technically they're earning by participating in chat, and how we're doing that is like the fun way would be like do some kind of trivia questions, but also like maybe the top gifters who stayed in the watch room during the battle the longest. Like, were you in for like the 3 hours? Because I'll do 2-hour warm-up time. I'll probably hop on like 5:36, and then the show starts at 7:30. But if someone's been on there the whole time, like, okay, you're here learning and earning, we're going to pay you. Like, oh, you participated the most, you're given the most questions. I don't know. I have to figure out how I'm going to get them paid. But, like, it's going to be via crypto. So I don't know if there's, like, any legality things I have to watch out for, too. So maybe...
I don't think so, because you have, like, your crypto earn accounts on, like, Coinbase and Binance that seem to be fine. And you can do giveaways with crypto, and that's fine.
I do that through TikTok though, or are they gonna, because it's technically earn. I saw like through TikTok, like their bylaws and stuff is like you just can't, everyone pays. I don't know how it works, but like I think I might be fine when I was reading it. That was a couple weeks ago, but I don't know if there's anything that TikTok's gonna kick me off for doing something like that. Okay.
I don't think so.
Alex, do you see any like major things I should potentially like kind of readjust or kind of look into a little bit deeper? And I don't expect you guys to all answer now. And even if you thought of something later, like I'm always all ears. I'm all about self retrospective, self improving our lives, self improving the community. And like Evan, I'm glad you reached out. I'm the Venus or the what you call it, the fly trap. I got caught by Evan, and now I'm here to sign up for your guys' sweatshop. Where do I sign up? I might even pay you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, nothing sounds like you need to be worried because you got to just keep in mind like a couple things. These are the things that would trip you up, which it doesn't sound like any of this is present, right? So if you're selling something, so there's an exchange of money, you know, you're intaking money and replacing it in your consumer with a product,
There
right?
actually
So if
might be an instance of that, Alex, and I'm going to be collecting money from the two cryptos that are battling each other. They pay a one-time fee, and if they win, then they're king of the hill. But if I collect money from them and give the check, because all the influencers are like, "Give me your money, chap. It's too late. You got to buy in now." Where I'm like, you know, you guys probably have to give them some money. Why don't you come to my show, get free money or free crypto potentially, have a chance to earn it, and then you can go do what you want. So I want to give back as opposed to receive. I'm always trying to give value.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that at all. Like if you're selling use of your platform for promotion, marketing, advertising, whatever to someone who's capitalizing on it, then you're exchanging a service for money, and that's fine. I'm talking about, you know, like, you know, you get 3 weeks into this and it's popping off and you're killing it and you're like, okay, it's time to launch, you know, crypto battle meme coin, and now you're starting to sell a meme coin. Now you're fucked. But if what you're doing is like, okay, here's my platform, and you know, tokens and projects and whatever can pay me for use of it, that's fine. That's your, you know, that's a way you can make money through social media marketing, which is a very big legal industry as long as it's disclosed properly. And then two, if people are participating and inputting effort and they are earning tokens as a return, that's fine, because there's no expectation of profit based on an investment that anyone is making. They are doing a thing and they're earning money for it. Now, the thing that you would then need to watch out for is like, okay, well, how much are they getting? Because if you give someone more than like $600 a year or whatever it is, then you technically need to, what is that? I forget the tax form, but you have to pay them.
1099. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to file tax related paperwork for that. So
I'm glad you mentioned that. So maybe I do a max chat win is like $500 or something.
And I mean, you just got to remember too, like, there's no way through TikTok for you to be like doing all this. So you're going to have to get them somewhere else to sign up for something or give you a wallet address or, you know, whatever. They're not going to be able to like.
So instead of messaging me through TikTok with their wallet address, have them go over to my Discord or something.
Yes. Yeah. You don't put yourself in the position where you need to sift through. TikTok DMs are such a cluster.
I get it. And yeah, I feel like TikTok has a couple areas they can improve on their UI UX. Even like down here, when you want to, at the very bottom, if someone's in the chat, like if you want to share your background, like the box is in the way, and it's like, yeah, so they have to log out. You have to do it. They're just like little minor things that they have to fix out there. But man, I appreciate all your time, and I'll hop off so you guys keep getting back to it. Unless you're about to say something, Alex, my bad. You go for it. I don't want to stop you. Please tell me.
I wouldn't worry too much, but you can also, you know, always take a quick chat with an attorney, because obviously I'm not a lawyer.
Gotcha. I actually might take you up when you mentioned that, like probably a few weeks ago, that you're with, or you had some resources. One of them being, oh my gosh, I think it was like another Alex. I can't believe I just forgot his last name. He's like a gaming influencer. You might know like his lawyer or someone big up.
Oh, I do know Alex Becker's attorney. Yes.
Yeah, Alex Becker's attorney. I'm like, yo, I text my buddy because you were like, yeah, I might hook you up with them. I'm like, yo, Adam, big news. But I don't know, either any attorney or any kind of resources, because my main goal is to just get back in. I don't want to have any negative impact on the community. I just want this to be like a positive environment, especially with all the noobs that are coming in. Like less than 0.5% of the entire world's probably, and probably even smaller than that. So you're going to get a lot of new people coming in, not knowing where to go. At least here, you know, they can learn, earn, and just try and like figure stuff out. You always use fake money and, you know, just have a good time and really deep dive into the community, because I've been in this for like years and I'm still learning things. And that's why I love both your, or all of your show. Like you're all contributing in unique ways and you all have different dynamics that's really unique and honestly refreshing. And I love it compared to a lot of the influencers. And it's super inspiring seeing what you guys are doing, because it gives me like a lot of confidence and reassurance. I'm like, because I can't really go into anybody else to ask these questions because no one's going to know. So I'm like, yeah, at least I can go to the morning show. I always try to give you as many shout outs as I can throughout my show. I've even trying to implement what Evan's doing with, final words of wisdom. Like I used to do that back in the day and I forgot. And then Evan, the other show, he's like, oh, tell us a funny joke, something to end with. And I'm like, wait, I got to do that again. So I gave you a shout out again for that. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, but love what you're all doing. And, I just love this community. And thanks again. I'm dipping out. Let you guys get back to your thing. I appreciate all the help so much.
Well, I love the idea, man. I hope you run with it and get it off the ground because that would be a lot of fun to watch. Projects, just like...
I think the funniest part is going to be I always wanted to live the Pat Sajak lifestyle, just have a little game show and everything. And then, and then what was the other part? Oh, and I love not necessarily the soap operas, but I like the drama and the trash talking. So imagine these people's babies that they've been developing, whether it's 2 days or 20 years in the works. And then some guy comes in and just starts shitting on it, talking all this trash for 1 minute. It's going to get heated. And then even other communities that are battling out, Alex, I saw what you commented on Soba's video, and it was so perfect. And Soba didn't respond, or Solana bastard, and he never responded. I commented on it. I thought that was great. But I think it's gonna be a great place for people to battle it out. Even people that are thought leaders, we've had people come in our chat that talk a couple hours about XRP and the ISO utility. And then we also have, I remember I saw Crypto News 5. He's a new influencer I came across, and the guy's a wild card. He's I don't want to get too much into it. I'll let him speak for himself, but he's against the ISOs. And I'm like, this would be so great to have those two debate each other because they're so well articulate and how they convey what they're trying to, tell everybody, to see those two battle it out. So maybe it works into that. Maybe we have crypto wars, crypto battles to start, but a lot of big things on the table. We'll see how it all unfolds. Thank you all again. I'm really leaving this time. All right, I'm hanging up. See ya.
It would be so fun to see that argument though, end with then a challenge to duel and a cage fight, like what we've seen with what BitBoy Crypto or whatever his name was, and someone else, crypto influencers getting to a cage match and having a boxing fight.
Oh my gosh, I think that's such a top signal. I honestly hate that. I have to say, I don't disagree with you. It's a little silly though. But I just want to, if there's a crypto battle and there's going to be an influencer launching a meme coin, I will go on TikTok live and battle them with words and love all day. But I just don't want to punch anybody. And I don't want anybody to hit me. I need this. This is, now that I've got a good phone, this is my
I will punch them.
Don't wreck your pretty nose, Will. Come on, man. You need that thing.
No, I mean, hey, this nose survived rugby and 2 years of boxing. So we're doing okay. My fingers, though, as you can see, my fingers are all broken. But, other than that.
Listen, we have a lot of fun here. And I want to thank Tech CEO. I want to thank all of our friends. Anybody who watches the show knows that usually we have guests on Panel Tuesday, which is tomorrow. But if you're a friend of the show, you've got something you want to share. We've got some guests coming up that we hope will add a lot of value, social platforms. And we'd love to have you, but our only request is that you spend some time and get to know us first because we want to make it a helpful call-in show. So if you want to know how to get to know us, the place to do it is Discord, where the show lives 24/7. There's a link in my bio. There's links in their bio. There's links at theriseupmorningshow.com. And if they don't work, because sometimes they don't work, just send one of us a DM to one of these profiles. They are our only profiles. We're not going to DM you first, so you got to slide into our DMs. Let's all stay safe that way. But come on, it's free to jump in the general chat, build community, ask your question, share your link, and rise up, we say, together. Yeah. So as we wind things down, because it's about that time to take our dog and pony show on the road, I'd love to know what your last thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom are. And that goes for you too. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking, what questions you have. And if we don't get to it today, we'll get to it tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, because we'll be right back here at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll take care of it then. So guys, what are your last thoughts for the day? What are you thinking?
Well,
just stun them, guys.
Sorry,
just screen fades to black.
Machinery, my friend. This is you're I feel like you're someone who's been in the chat for long enough to tell the difference. I don't have any issue with people who gamble in the meme coin casino. I do it myself. What I have a very specific and particular issue with is the movement of influencers launching their own meme tokens and shilling them to their community. It's very specific. If you are an influencer that's doing that, then I do not care for you. And you are breaking the law, and you are hurting your community, and you're adding nothing of value to the industry. And that's it.
He thumbs his nose at them.
Yeah.
Give
But if you're like
Shakespearean insult.
buying some Pepe, and you're gambling on whiff, and you're trying to throw darts at the meme casino board, and pick a winner. I don't care. It's your money. Do whatever you want. Vegas is super fun. People love the slot machines.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I also saw one question, just because I know it's directed towards me. I don't know if D-Dust is going to launch a coin or not. It's not confirmed. Probably will, because most projects do release a token. But yeah.
If you thought they were, and you were in the Ton ecosystem, maybe you got some Ton, or maybe you got some StoneFi, what would you do to try and maybe there's an airdrop, or maybe you want to get on the
what
radar?
you do is, if you're interested in D-Dust's coin, you want to get access to what's going to be the major decentralized exchange within Toncoin. So right now, the only one of the two, which is StoneFi or D-Dust, has a coin out, is StoneFi. So if you have StoneFi, keep your StoneFi, and then if you want to be in play for the airdrop with D-Dust, take some Ton and go and lend it over on D-Dust and start accruing points, so that when there's a screenshot taken, you can get that airdrop and then be given the Dust token. Let's just imagine it's called Dust. And then you have the opportunity to buy some. But then you have, because we don't know which of the two decentralized exchanges right now are going to win out to be the most popular one. And the one that does end up being the most popular one stands to make a lot of money. And if the other one goes to zero, that's fine, because the one that makes a lot of money is going to make you far more than you put in and potentially lost in the other one. So that's what I would say to people.
Excellent. Very well said.
And then I guess what I'll say, and I'm about to make a video on it this afternoon too, is right now, a lot of altcoin positions are down a lot. What you should be doing is, as we rebound, assuming we do rebound, of course, nothing's guaranteed, but as we rebound, if the rebound is happening, and the rebound should take, we should probably have, a month or so if we rebound before we get another correction, maybe 2 months, something like that. It should be a pretty longer time of us kind of moving upwards. You should be taking a look at your portfolio and seeing if all of your altcoins that are down are starting to rebound. And if there are ones that aren't starting to rebound, those are ones that you then don't need to immediately sell, but at the very least need to put on a short list. Cool, I need to really pay attention to these ones. And because it might just take a little bit more time, and then it's a good coin and it pops off, you take it off the short list. But if we go through another pump and the coins that are on that short list don't pump at all, those are coins that you may want to look to consolidate into other positions, So I would say that as we rebound, it's a really good time to have a list of coins in your portfolio that you're I'm not sure about these. Let's see how they do in this rebound. And then, potentially look to consolidate. So that's just what I'd say. You don't need to jump into every single coin. I've had a lot of people being like, Will, are you getting into Landwolf? Are you getting into Landwolf? Are you going to do this? Are you going to sell some things, get into Landwolf? I'm like, no, I don't. I think it'll do well. I think the whole boys club thing will do well. But I had the thought process maybe I sell my Cocky Inu and put it into a coin in the boys club like Landwolf. But I'm just if you make too many moves, you're more likely to lose money. And I don't need to do that. I'm just going to take a look at the coins that I have on my short list and see how they perform in this rebound. And then, make some cuts once we have a rebound, and I get to see which of the coins in my portfolio genuinely are the weakest. So, I don't know. That's it. Hope that made sense.
Yeah, I would say that kind of lends itself to my number one piece of advice at this point. And now is a good time in the market to gut check yourself on this as an idea. Don't let pride cost you opportunity. because you're unwilling to change your mind when presented with new information. That's a message specifically directed towards the maximalists of anything. Like I get it, that you feel like you've, done an outsized amount of research into something, or you just see value where other people don't, or, whatever the thing is that like marries you to your favorite blockchain. But like Will said, the tough pill to swallow sometimes is that you just, didn't necessarily pick the winner. And that's okay, because most people don't. Just, be open to receiving new information and be willing to change your mind when you get it, and you'll be way more likely to win.
Very well said. So somebody asked, I think I have just a couple little notes. There are a lot of good questions coming in at the end. I appreciate that. Maybe one of these days we'll do a rapid fire, just question and answer. Thursdays going forward will be a day that we will end our streams a little early, and we will jump into Discord to host a conversational community only stream. A lot of people want to know, what's our community? What's the name for the community? The Rise Up Morning Show hosts the Rise Up Discord, where the show lives 24/7, where Alex and I are going to have office hours that our premium members can just come hang out. We're going to have regular streams that anybody can just come to in there, but it'll be, instead of comments like this, you can come up on the stage and just talk to us voice to voice, or you as a dedicated member of this smaller specific audience can get to know us over time and leave your question there. So really, if you haven't, you are one of the group of people we call the Faceless Many, the everyday people who will learn to leverage future technology to rise up and write a better future, even if you never buy cryptocurrency. And that community is a great place for you to come, ask your question, express your skepticism, share a link because you're worried it's a scam, and we'll all learn and grow together. It's at our links in our bios, and it's at theriseupmorningshow.com. We'd love to see you there. If you want to learn more about which meme coin is going to be 1000x, 100x, I actually really wanted to plug really quick a guy we haven't had on the show yet, Nick Junis. Love his content, super helpful. He made a great video the other day that no one is going to see about PhotonBot. You don't like Nick?
No, of course I like Nick.
I was like, come on, man.
I just have to give one Nick disclaimer, and I think Nick would appreciate this. I do like Nick. I speak to Nick. Nick is a very smart individual. Every now and then, it was just really funny because I made a lot of recommendations to people to follow Nick like several months ago, because he was just on this tear of putting out like really consistent, really good videos like that were educating about some stuff in crypto that he had very unique perspective on as a software engineer. And I was like, yeah, dude, everyone go follow. And all of a sudden, Nick's whole channel just shifted for like 6 weeks, where all he did was complain about car insurance. And I was like, God damn it, Nick. Yeah, he had one video that ripped, and then he just complained about car insurance for literally like a month and a half. And I was like, Nick, you son of a bitch. Do you know how many people I just sent that now I'm like, what the hell are they? Just strap in for Nick, because every now and then he'll just go off on a tangent for several weeks, and his whole channel will become California National Park regulation complaint.
Nice. But he had a really great video talking about how he broke down, like with hard data, a couple hundred meme tokens, and talked about how on Pump.Fun, not worth your time, essentially was the TLDR. He gave you some helpful settings to use on PhotonBot. The question I'm answering, somebody asked which meme coin is going to 1000x. It's not Brett, it's not Wolf, it's not Cocky New, because the market cap is too big. How do I find the low cap gems? Check out Nick's most recent videos, because he gives helpful indicators and settings. When a meme coin reaches 400,000 in market cap, the odds it's going to die are astronomical. And then if it goes to 800,000, they're even bigger. The ones that make it to 1 million are 1 in 10,000. You know what I mean? And if you want to figure out where should I invest my money because I'm gambling in a casino, what are the slots that give the best odds? Those are some good videos to watch, and you can absolutely set yourself up for more success gambling on sub 100K market cap memes than if you're just going to Pump.Fun and trying to say, well, that looks cute. Check out his videos. He had some good suggestions. And then the last question I wanted to answer we can answer more if we need to. I've got time. But Alex, you said you were going to address is people come in, they ask, okay, I'm new. What do I invest in? I'm learning. Where do I start? And I always suggest learn about Bitcoin, learn about Ethereum, because if you understand why those things matter, you'll have a better understanding of why crypto matters. And I can give you some resources on that in a second, but I know you have an answer, and I've got to go shake my dogs. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, sorry, what's the name? Daniel, I think it was. Yeah. So the reason I don't like to answer that question quickly for someone who's like new and hops in is just because, I know what you're doing. And I know that if I just give like a no context answer to that question, like what am I interested in, it's going to come across as like, I'm telling you should go buy this thing. And that is not the case. So there are, of course, things inside of crypto that I'm interested in. There's things in crypto that Will's interested in. There's things in crypto that Evan's interested in. So I like, for example, I'm watching Solana really close. It's not a hot take at all. Everyone's watching Solana. But just from a perspective of, that's an ecosystem that's constantly shipping products. Users are over there. They're having fun. Developers are incentivized to keep doing things. And it's one big happy family. So in that case, for FOI, whatever, I was too until it crashed. I'm not sure if that was directed at me or if that was
I think it was about Solana
that I missed. If you were interested in Solana until the price crashed, I'm trying to, I guess, I don't know, what do you, like,
You're not going to make money.
Yeah.
That's the thought process. Like, you got to get, if you're interested when the price goes up, you have to recognize that you are a part of the retail herd that makes the mistakes financially.
Yeah.
You need to be interested in something when the price goes down. That's like if something crashes, that's when you need to get interested. And I totally get it. Like it's the opposite of how brain and human emotions work. But whatever your emotions are going to lead you to make the worst financial decision 9 out of 10 times. So like to be interested in Solana when the price is up probably means that you're buying tops. And then, when it's boring and sad and depressing, that's when you got to get interested and buy. And it's difficult because it's the opposite of human nature.
And I don't know exactly what you're getting at. I'm not talking about specific like memes in Solana. I'm literally just talking about Sol, the underlying
and even the ecosystem, right?
currency that underpins the entire network. Like Solana, the network, has a shitload of users doing a ton of different things, launching all sorts of stuff that is perfectly exemplified by the fact that the meme casino lives there. The reason the meme casino lives there is because of all of the money flowing around with all of the people that are there on Sol. If that didn't exist, the meme people would have launched somewhere else where that existed. It's previously been big on ETH because that's where people were spending money. Now it's big on Solana because that's where people are spending money. It's big on Base because that's where people are spending money. You'll notice there is no big meme coin casino on Cardano because there's no one spending any money there. If that changed tomorrow and a ton of free capital came into Cardano and started flowing around, memes would pop up. Memes are a symptom of people and money flowing around. Memes are not the reason that people and money go somewhere. They come after. So if your analysis of Solana as a network is that a meme that you gambled on now did poorly, so you're going to abandon Solana as like a consideration, you are exactly what Will just said. You're the exit liquidity for people who are watching it. Like I watch Solana. I literally mean I watch it. I'm not like buying a ton of stuff or gambling on this, that, or the other thing. I'm paying attention and just making notes. Like, okay, they just shipped this. Let's see how this affects the market. Okay, they just shipped this. Like, is that going to have an impact? Is that going to turn, more users are going to come in? Whatever it is. If you're not willing to be bored and you're not willing to like sit down and do some legitimate digging when like the prices are in the toilet, you know, you're the group that's gonna make the other group money, because you're gonna, then the second the price is gonna go up, you're like, oh, now it's time, I'm gonna buy some, and then it's gonna go down again because the people who bought it down here are gonna sell on you, and it's just a vicious cycle. So I guess, you know, how do I boil that down to an actual nugget of helpful information? You can do more in crypto than just buy stuff. Don't, I guess, what, don't, I don't know, how would you make this into a nugget? Will, Evan, help me out here, because now I'm rambling. Just, you don't have to just buy stuff to participate. You can read about it, and you can learn about stuff, and you can keep an eye on things, and you can wait for, you know, several weeks of red. I mean, what's Solana?
I would say
like,
exactly that, but just, I would phrase it as build conviction. Spend your time building conviction, and you do that by joining a community of people who are going to help accelerate your learning journey. Our version of community is come to the live show, jump in the Discord where we can keep the conversation going. If you do that, any investment you make will be better for it, because you're going to have more information that you will filter, you know, is this good or bad through. You'll know more about yourself, more about the market, more about what other people think. I don't know. That's how I would say it.
Yeah, that's it. Build conviction is what I'm getting at. Don't just buy things because you intook one new piece of information that influences your opinion. You know, like come to the table with an arsenal of information, and make a better decision. If you just kind of flit from thing to thing because somebody with a camera on their phone told you that this is now the play, who the hell is that person to tell you, you know, what the play is? You know, like most of those things are self-fulfilling prophecies if the platform is big enough. So just, you know, let everything influence your decision-making process, but don't let any one thing be the thing that, you know, forces you to buy something. Those are never good financial decisions.
Yeah, the person who stands for nothing will fall for everything.
Yeah. How have the three of you done in crypto overall? I
would be willing to bet that Will has done the best in terms of buying and selling and trading, because I just don't do a ton of it, and I know Alex, you don't either. And based on my guy's videos over here, I think Will's going to get to the yacht first.
I have made multiple 6 figures, and at the end of this cycle, I should make multiple 7 figures.
There you go.
I have.
Unless things go horribly wrong. Knock on wood.
Will, I would just like to politely remind you that I do have a commercial captain's license. I can read nautical charts. I'm an experienced line handler on ships, and I know my way around.
Well, I don't know. I was in Cub Scouts, so my knot game is pretty atrocious because I wasn't paying attention at all during it. So I'll need it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Will, I can make fire with sticks. I play a number of songs everyone loves on the guitar, and I tell one hell of a story. So
that's pretty good, guys.
Yacht at the end of the bull market.
It's like the one comment. It's like I will have Will adopt me.
Yeah, that's exactly
well, guys, we'll see how this goes, and I got to get a family compound first, and then after that, we'll just have a rise up compound down the road somewhere.
Perfect.
That sounds good. That's what we're doing too. And my greatest investment is social capital. I have, you know, I've been rich, I've been poor. Rich is better, but we're working on it. And if I can go somewhere in 10 years, anywhere, and people will say, "Wow, it's Evan. Won't you come in for dinner?" I will be feeling pretty good about it. So don't trust us because we have performed so well. Verify the things we say and come back to watch this show, because you know we are not going to ask you to trust us. We are going to help you access the tools, the knowledge, the information to learn for yourself. That's why you watch this show.
Don't trust the people flashing their Rolexes and their fancy cars and talking about their money. Trust the people who are trying to provide you education.
Yeah, and the people who will just say, go verify it. Verify it on the chain. Verify it here. Verify it there. The other folks, they're not your teachers. I did want to share one last thought, which is that I know a lot of our followers are chronically online people, meaning I see you in other folks' streams. I see you hanging out on Twitter, other places. And I really love it that you make time to come to our show. And so many other shows that you are the best part of what we do. You're the most important part of the community experience. And I really just want to say, I had a friend over the weekend who's a content creator here who I had a short conversation with. He has been sort of absent from the app because he just hasn't felt very good. He had a family tragedy a little while ago. And I wanted to remind you, in case nobody else has, I don't know how these guys would say it, but I would just say, we love you. You matter to us. And if nobody else in this space tells you that, I just wanted you to know it. You're the best part of what we do. We appreciate you for coming here and hanging out with us all the time, every day. And if you're having a bad day, if you're having a downtime like the markets are sometimes, then I hope that this makes your time a little bit better. And we're all grateful to you.
Yeah, dude, the best comments I get on videos, and a lot of times people just talking about the markets, but the best comments are always the ones where it's like, hey, dude, like, always learned a lot and actually made like a few $1,000 off you from like something you talked about the other day. And I was like, I love that shit. I love that shit. That's awesome. That's the happiest I get with a comment.
Or like when Tech CEO said, I don't ask anyone else these questions because I don't know if they can answer them. I'm always like, well, maybe we can't either, but honored that you trust us to.
Yeah. But anyway, any other final questions or?
That's it. I'm glad to ride our ponies off in the sunset. In that note, we thank you so much for joining us. We will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. It'll be just as nerdy, just as fun. The only thing missing is you. I hope you'll join us there. I hope you'll join us in the Discord at theriseupmorningshow.com at the link in our bios. And come along for the rest of the ride. Whether the market's up or down, we'll be here. And we look forward to seeing you. Until then, my friends, rise up.
Bye-bye. Have a